I'd like to call the Macomb City Council to order, please. If you please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If the clerk would call the roll, please.
Justin Shu,
Present.
John Vajezi,
Here?
Byron Shabazz, Dave Dorset,
Present.
Ashley Katz. Here. Don Wynn,
Here.
Dennis Moon.
Here.
6 present.
We have a quorum. Thank you. Citizens wishing to address the City Council on matters germane to the to the agenda of tonight's meeting will be limited to 3 minutes and are asked to be brief and concise in making their remarks. Comments submitted by mail or email will not be read aloud, but a copy will be provided to each member of the council and made a part of the minutes of this meeting. Does anyone wish to speak to the council under the public comment section of the agenda this evening? Already hearing none, we'll move on. I'd entertain a motion to sit as the Township Board.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to sit as the Township Board. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Merriman.
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz. Aye. Wynn,
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Board, before you is a consent agenda, motion is in order.
Move to adopt as published.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda as published, which includes claims and accounts, supervisor's report, and assessor's report. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz. Aye. Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Inman.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. There is no old business, and there is no new business. We'd entertain a motion to resume as a city council.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to resume it as a city council. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz. Aye. Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Merriman,
Aye.
Shu. Aye. All ayes.
Motion carried. And council, before you on the council's agenda is a consent agenda. The motion is in order there as well.
To adopt as presented.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz. Aye. Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Under unfinished business, item number 1, consideration of an ordinance amending section 2-184 of the Macomb Municipal Code pertaining to designation of depositories. This will be second reading.
Thank you. Upon recommendation of the city treasurer, if adopted, the ordinance indicates council's desire to concur with the recommendation to amend section 2-184 of the code concerning designation of depositories. The amendments are contained in the attached Exhibit A, which is a part of the ordinance.
Thank you. That'll stand as second reading. Motion is in order.
Make a motion to amend section 2-184 of the Macomb Municipal Code pertaining to designation of depositories.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the ordinance. Any discussion? In essence, it's all the depositories in the city. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you. Hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Katz. Aye. Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 2, consideration to remove the tabled ordinance to authorize the issuance of a special use permit to allow a large-scale solar energy facility in an AG1 agricultural zoning district at 207 Weir Avenue. We need to entertain a motion to bring that back on the table.
Motion to remove the item from the table.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. This will be second reading.
Thank you. Richard Mead, as the applicant, has filed a request with the Office of Community Development requesting a special use permit authorizing a large-scale solar energy facility at 207 Ware Avenue in Macomb. The property is described in the Exhibit A attached to the ordinance. Upon receipt of the application, the Office of Community Development served written notices of the public hearing, scheduled the public hearing, published notice of the public hearing in the community news brief, and posted a sign at the subject property. Planning Commission did hold a hearing on May 8th, 2024, wherein they voted 8-0 to grant the special use permit with condition that it be built in accordance with the plans presented to the commission, and they've recommended that council approve the special use permit as well. If adopted, the ordinance does authorize the issuance and granting of a special use permit authorizing a large-scale solar energy facility at 207 Ware Avenue in accordance with the provisions of the code, upon condition that it be built in accordance with the landscaping plan and the approved plans. If adopted, the Office of Community Development is authorized to issue that special use permit and update the city's official zoning map.
Thank you. That'll stand a second reading. Motion is in order.
Move to adopt the ordinance to authorize the issuance of special use permit to allow large-scale solar energy facility, AG1, 207 Ware Avenue.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adopt the ordinance, and we'll open it up for discussion. I would note that the Community Development Subcommittee had an opportunity to review this in a little more detail last week. We also have a revised site plan that was presented to city staff and has been shared with you this evening. And the city attorney has also given you on the flip side of the site plan is a use matrix for what may or may not be there by right or special use permit. Alderman Katz, do you have any comments regarding the community development meeting?
Yes, after hearing from the petitioner at the community development meeting, we got a lot of the answers that we were looking for in regards to building usage and where the energy was going to be going back to the grid, which was helpful in being able to support the change.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments? Ms. Lambert, do you have anything you'd like to add?
Only that, again, one of the things that were noted during that conversation as well was the building design. They had it by 20 by 20, and it's actually 20 by 10, and they'll be using that for O&M and storage. So again, you'll be able to see that in the site plan itself.
Okay, very good. Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And the companion to that is item number 3, consideration of an ordinance to authorize the issuance of a special use permit to allow I'm sorry. There's a lot of those on here.
Yeah, second reading.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. All righty.
4.
Okay. How about we're on item number 4?
Correct.
Consideration ordinance amending Chapter 17 of the Macomb Municipal Code pertaining to the lodging, boarding, and rooming house ordinance. This had first reading on May 6th, and we're here for second reading.
An updated ordinance has been provided. I would indicate to council that those updates were made as a result of questions that were raised at committee of the whole and that were addressed by staff, along most particularly with the fire chief. So the ordinance as presented tonight indicates that Chapter 17 of the Municipal Code controls the use and development of land. And there is a provision to allow by special use only a lodging, boarding, and rooming house. And the amendment is to allow those to contain up to 30 rooms. If adopted, council would concur in the recommendation of the Community Development Committee and the Community Development Director to amend Section 17. And those sections to be amended would be 17-42, -669, -734, -749, -764, -839, as well as the use matrix in Appendix A of Chapter 17, and all of those changes are contained in the Exhibit A attached to the ordinance.
Thank you. That'll stand a second reading. Motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved and seconded to concur. Any discussion? Alderman Vajezi.
Just one quick note. I know last time we had this discussion, we were talking about fire inspections and such. I just want to make sure that we are still following up that the development will go through and follow follow up with fire inspections and make sure everything is where it's supposed to be.
Not downtown development, but the rental housing inspector, correct? And then the fire department does normal inspections that have been done previously with those types of properties.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried, thank you. There is no other unfinished business. Under new business, item number 1, consideration to authorize amending the Economic Development Revolving Loan Program guidelines. This was discussed at the Community Development Subcommittee and the Committee of the Whole Monday night. A memo is in your packet from the Community Development Director. Ms. Lambert, you want to go over that for us, please?
Yes, so we are looking to make some slight changes to the Economic Development Revolving Loan application. So you'll see in the highlighted sections, it's for the job creation criteria, to waive that if the funding is for a matter of public health, life, or safety. So then this way, if there's something in terms of a fire code or something like that, we are able to move forward with the application if approved by council, to assist in that matter.
Thank you. Any questions for Miranda? Alderman Moon.
I guess I don't understand when you say fire code, what
Such
I'm not
as
following you very well.
installing a sprinkler system. You'll see that through an application later on in today's agenda.
So they will have to put sprinkler systems in?
Depending on the size of a location. So again, this just allows us to move forward by making these changes, we're able to move forward with approving those applications by creating this waiver on the job creation criteria.
And who makes that decision?
You guys do.
Okay.
All we're doing here is allowing a loan application to get to council and community development. If it's for life, health, safety reason, they do not have to have the job creation or retention component. But the community development committee and council will still retain the final authority to authorize that loan.
Any other questions? Would entertain a motion to approve the amendment.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 2, consideration of an ordinance amending Chapter 10, Article 5, Section 24-10 of the Municipal Code of the City pertaining to fireworks, firecrackers, etc. Copy of the ordinance is in your packet, and this will be first reading.
Thank you. Upon the recommendation of the fire chief and city attorney, the ordinance does provide that council would desire to concur with the recommendation to amend Chapter 10, Article 5, and Section 24-10 of the Municipal Code concerning fireworks. Those amendments and modifications are contained in the attached Exhibit A.
Thank you. That'll stand as first reading, and that's a companion to item number 3, consideration to authorize the Committee of the Whole power to act on the ordinance amending Chapter 10, Article 5, Section 2410 of the Municipal Code regarding fireworks, firecrackers, etc., at the Committee of the Whole meeting to be held Monday, June 24th, 2024.
Move to authorize Committee of the Whole power to act on the ordinance.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Alderman Vajezi.
Again, this is just clearing up something that was already done by the state, but we're now enforcing this ordinance, correct? Or enforcing the law.
This is getting our code in compliance with the state statute.
So it's nothing that we are doing, and we're not saying you can't have fireworks, we're just following state statute.
We're not modifying what is currently permissible.
Yep, perfect, thank you.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Entertain a motion to, no further discussion. Roll call, please.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 4, consideration of an ordinance to authorize the issuance of a special use permit to allow a large-scale solar energy system in an AG1 agricultural zoning district at the property located northeast of the intersection of U.S. Highway 67 and US Highway 136 with property ID numbers 12-000-343-00 and 12-000-344-00 in Macomb, McDonough County, Illinois. This will be first reading.
Thank you. McDonough Solar 6 LLC, McDonough Solar 6B LLC, and McDonough Solar 6C LLC as the applicant have filed an application requesting a special use permit authorizing a large-scale solar energy system at the property just mentioned by the mayor. That property is set forth and described in Exhibit A. Upon receipt of the application, a public hearing was scheduled for May 8th, 2024, and written notices of that hearing were sent to all real estate owners within 250 feet of the property. Notice of the hearing was published in the community news brief, and a sign was posted at the subject property. Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on May 8th, 2024 at 5:15 p.m. There were statements both in opposition of the application as well as in support of the application. Planning Commission did vote at that meeting 7-1 to grant the special use permit and has recommended that council approve the special use permit upon condition that the project be built in accordance with the plans that were submitted. If adopted, the ordinance does indicate that council would concur with that recommendation and grant and authorize the granting of a special use permit allowing large-scale solar at the property described by the mayor upon condition that the property be constructed in accordance with the plan submitted and approved by the city, and that landscaping on the site be maintained in accordance with the approved landscaping plan. The Office of Community Development would be authorized to issue the special use permit and update the city's official zoning map accordingly.
Thank you. That'll stand as first reading. That'll be placed on next week's Committee of the Whole agenda for further discussion. Item number 5, consideration of ordinance to amend sections 15-214 and 15-216 of the municipal code relating to parking. This will be first reading.
Thank you. The Illinois Municipal Code and the Illinois Vehicle Code does allow the city of Macomb to control the use of its streets. Upon recommendation of the Community Development Committee and city staff, the ordinance indicates council desires to amend sections 15-214 and 15-216 concerning no parking as well as handicap parking. Those amendments are set forth in the attached Exhibit A.
Thank you. That'll stand as first reading. We'll place that on for discussion at next week's Committee of the Whole. Item number 6, consideration of an ordinance amending Chapter 17-197 of the Macomb Municipal Code pertaining to minor subdivisions. This will be first reading.
Thank you. Upon recommendation of the Community Development Director, we are recommending amendment of Section 17-197 of the code pertaining to minor subdivisions involving adjacent parcels. That recommendation did receive concurrence of the Community Development Committee. If adopted, council would indicate its desire to concur with the recommendations and authorize the amendment of Section 17-190 as set forth in the attached Exhibit A.
Thank you. That'll stand as first reading. We'll place that on for further discussion at next week's Committee of the Whole. Item number 7, consideration of an ordinance to vacate the alley running north and south between East Carroll and East Calhoun Streets in Block 12 of Original Town in the city of Macomb. This will be first reading.
Thank you. The Illinois Municipal Code does authorize the municipality to vacate a portion of a street or alley when the corporate authorities determine that the public interest is served by doing so. Council would indicate in the ordinance that the public interest will be served by vacating the alley running north and south between East Carroll Street and East Calhoun Street. The alley would then be joined to the parcels to the west of such alley. All is shown in the attached Exhibit A. Council or city staff rather has determined that no public or private interest would be prejudiced by the vacating of the right-of-way, and the recommendations of city staff would be to vacate the alley. If adopted, the ordinance would in fact vacate that alley, and the alley would then join the adjoining parcels to the west, and those parcel identification numbers are listed in the ordinance, and the depiction of the vacation is in Exhibit A.
Thank you. That'll stand as first reading. We'll place it on next week's Committee of the Whole agenda for further discussion. Item number 8, consideration to approve an economic development revolving loan application from the Forum/Two Dogs in the amount of $125,000. There's a memorandum attached from the Community Development Director. Ms. Lambert, would you come up and go over that for us, please?
We have an application for the Forum Two Dogs in the amount of $125,000 to install a sprinkler system. We do have that funding that we'll be able to take that from our community Development General Ledger. And how that will be set, the loan will be paid over 5 years with a 3% interest rate. And due to the work being paid for by this loan, as you guys did a few numbers ago, the job creation criteria of this application will be waived.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Lambert regarding the loan? Alderman Moon.
What is the balance of that fund?
So that fund has approximately, once you take, again, with what we're using it for, because it's also for our housing grant, is at approximately right now 240,000.
Do you have many applications for it, or is this going to limit your ability to look at projects in the future?
So again, this has been my first application, but I think through prior experience, I'll let Scott speak to that.
We haven't had very many recent applications, no.
And I think that's something that is stated, you know, it is as we have funding available for these projects. So first come, first serve.
Any other questions? All righty, we entertain a motion to approve the loan and the terms as given by the Community Development Coordinator.
Make a motion to approve the loan for $125,000 for the Forum, 2 dogs.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you, Alderman Shu, I'm sorry.
Right.
Any further discussion? Sorry there. I would note for the record the petitioner is present. All right, hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vijezi,
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Lambert. Item number 9, consideration to authorize reinstatement of the downtown facade grant program within the historic courthouse square district for year 2024-2025. There's a combined memorandum here from both the Community Development Director and the Marketing and Development Director of the city. Ms. Ballard, do you want to come down and go over that memorandum for us, please?
Wonderful. So yes, we're looking to reinstate the downtown facade grant program for the 24-25 fiscal year. Past council approval has moved $50,000 from our West Side TIF fund to the downtown TIF fund to be able to fund this program. For any application that we may get, the city shall provide 2/3 of the cost of an exterior project, eligible cost up to $20,000 or more per council approval. So we're just hoping to reinstate the program for exterior facade projects within the downtown district.
Very good. Any questions for Ms. Ballard? None? Alderman Moon?
Are you anticipating any applications?
Yes, so we had this
So this is the reason we brought it back on, huh?
Yes, so we had this
Good for us.
program the last time in 21-22, and we had 8 applicants for that program. So there's definitely a need, and I've been here a year, and I've had multiple business owners and building owners coming up to me asking when the program would be back. So there's definitely a need.
Thank you. Alderman Dorset, did you have a question? All right, very good. We entertain a motion to authorize the reinstatement of the program.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to reinstate the downtown facade grant program. Any discussion? Alderman Moon.
Okay, since we eliminated it and now we're putting it back in, what's that do to our budget?
This was approved in our budget. This expense was approved in the budget.
But we took it out, now we're putting it back in,
Yeah,
right?
it's funded from our TIF funds.
TIF.
Anyone else? All righty, hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Pass.
Shu,
Aye.
Vijezi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
6-1.
Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Ballard. Item number 10, consideration to approve the name change for the McDonough County Public Transportation to the Macomb Public Transportation. There's a memorandum in your packet from former Transit Director, now Community Development Director, Lambert. Miranda, you want to go over that for us, please?
Yes, so the city of Macomb is the grantee for IDOT when it comes in terms of our capital and operational grants. And now we are also operating as an actual department. We are not using a third party to manage or hire our employees. So one of the things that we want to bring forward is to represent ourselves as a department, so make that name change to the Macomb Public Transportation, so we're in line with the other departments. And this way, it's a better way for the public to identify who they should go to in case they have input, suggestions, or feedback to us. So this was recommended for approval by the General Government Committee to come to the City Council as a whole, and you'll see our logo on the memo below that I provided.
Very good. Any questions for Ms. Lambert? Alderman Dorsey.
Just so everybody at home knows, none of the branding or any of the names will change for the most part that they see out in the public, correct?
Correct, a very good note. Our services will still be Go West for the fixed route and demand response for our demand response system.
Thank you.
Alderman Moon.
If I remember correctly, that we did some out of city limit services through transportation.
Correct.
How does this affect that?
This will not impact it. So again, we do out-of-county, non-emergency medical trips through demand response. So this will not impact. And again, if anything, people will know whose vehicles these are by putting this logo on said vehicles, unless you're referring to Hancock County.
Okay.
Any other discussion? We have a motion.
No.
We need a motion to approve the name change to Macomb Public Transportation.
Make a motion to approve the name change from McDonough County Public Transportation to Macomb Public Transportation.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Bajezi,
Aye.
Shabazz, Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 11, consideration to approve an agreement between the city and Western Illinois University regarding transportation. There's a memorandum in your packet from Ms. Lambert, and the floor is yours.
It is that time of year again. So again, we're looking to get our agreement in place. Again, pretty much some of the main changes are the term. So again, it will be for this next year, July 1st to June 30th of next year. And then the signatures on the back. The amount for will still be the same, the $320,000 or 10% of the student paid transit fees, whichever one is higher. We have seen it be that amount as higher over the last couple of years. Our contract this last year was $530,000, but we do have that baseline to allow us to assist with our budgeting purposes. And as mentioned in the memo, there's not much changes taking place this year, only looking at a few changes that we have in terms of what time the buses start, especially on campus, seeing when students are going to classes and the amount of buses we have on.
Thank you. Any questions from Miranda regarding the agreement between us and Western Illinois University? Entertain a motion to approve that agreement.
Make a motion to approve the Western Illinois University Transportation Agreement.
Second.
Moved and second to approve the agreement. Any discussion? What's the term? Is this?
It's 1 year, so this will go until June 30th of next year.
Thank you very much. Alderman Moon.
Is there any possibility of maybe not this year, but next year, making that a multi-year agreement?
I definitely think that would be an ideal amount of space, a time for time efficiencies for both us and WIU. I think one of the things is why we did it like that to begin with is the amount, but being able to put that 90% really gives us some flexibility.
We've got enough history now. We should be able to
Exactly.
figure it out.
I think we all have a good working partnership.
Okay. We'll work on that for next year. We entertain a motion to approve. Oh, we have that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Recuse.
Bajezi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Thank you, Miranda. Item number 12, consideration to authorize granting the bid award for tree removal in various locations in the city to Giving Tree in the amount of $96,000. Even though the memorandum in your pack was authored by the city administrator, Ms. Ortman's going to give us a lowdown on this one. Alice?
I delegated that one up. So we opened bids on June 4th. We had anticipated more bids, but we ended up getting only the one from Giving Tree for $96,000. We had originally budgeted $75,000. City Forester Skipper Bowles had become aware of a grant through Trees Forever for $25,000, so he has applied for that, and we believe our chances are good at getting it. He talked to them quite a bit, and they were expecting our application, so we're optimistic that we will be getting that $25,000. If we don't, then that would leave us $21,000 short, and in discussions with City Administrator Coker, we're asking for permission to take $21,000 from the general fund to cover that additional cost, as the cost of taking these trees down will not decrease anytime soon.
Thank you. Any questions for Ms. Ortman? All righty. We'd entertain a motion to award the bid to Giving Tree, in the amount of $96,000.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to award the bid. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shu.
Aye.
Vajezi.
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alice. Item number 13, consideration to adopt a resolution regarding a highway closure from the Macomb Heritage Days Parade on June 29, 2024. I'd ask the city attorney to read the resolution to the record, please.
Thank you. The resolution indicates that the city is sponsoring a Heritage Days festival, that the event would require the temporary closure of one lane of Highway 136 eastbound from North Randolph Street to North Campbell Street. The time of that closure would be approximately 8 a.m. on June 26th and ending at 8 a.m. on June 30th. And upon adoption, the resolution will be forwarded to the Department of Transportation as a request for permission to make that closure.
Thank you. Would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Vajezi.
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Shu.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And a second item on number 14 for, again, adopt a resolution regarding a highway closure for Western Illinois University's homecoming parade on October 12th, 2024. If the city attorney would read that resolution, please.
Certainly. The resolution indicates the city is sponsoring, but we are certainly participating in the WIU Homecoming Parade. That event would require the temporary closure of Highway 136 at the intersection of 136 and East Carroll Street. That closure would require a detour as set forth in the resolution. Part of that detour would require the city of Macomb to place all signage in accordance with the Department of Transportation regulations. An occasional break would be allowed for purposes of the procession of the parade, and the city would provide any necessary officers and traffic control to accomplish that. And again, this resolution, if adopted, would be forwarded to the Department of Transportation as a request for permission for the closure.
Thank you. We'd entertain a motion to adopt that resolution.
Motion to adopt the resolution.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adopt. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Shu.
Aye.
Vajezi.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. There is no other new business this evening. Are there any committee reports? Alderman Vajezi.
Just a quick update on the animal shelter. For the month of May, at the beginning of May, there were 38 dogs in the shelter. 6 were picked up, 8 were dropped off for a total of 52. Of those 52, 8 were reclaimed, 21 were adopted. Just to let you know, that was a large number for being adopted, but a number of them were puppies, leaving 29 dogs at the end of the month for a total of 23 after the addition and subtraction. For cats, beginning of the month, there were 25, 20 were adopted, dropped off for a total of 45. Of the 45, 18 were adopted. Unfortunately, 4 passed away in the kennels, bringing the total down to 23. One quick note also, a number of months ago, we started up with the helping out with the spaying and neutering of the animals. Just in March, April, and May, at 17, that the feral cats that were caught and spayed or neutered, 23 and 29. So it's definitely working. The cats are being caught and spayed and neutered, and they're being re-released and/or housed. So if you do have any feral cat colonies in your neighborhood, please reach out, but it's definitely working to help control the population.
Alderman Jesse, who would they contact to take advantage of that program?
They can contact the treasurer's office, so there's an application they'll fill out, they bring it to the veterinarian. Once they've caught the animal, have them spayed or neutered, and then re-released.
Thank you.
County treasurer.
County treasurer.
County treasurer.
Thank you. At the courthouse, in the north or the east entrance.
Yes.
Thank you. All right. Alderman Dorset.
Thank you. During the MACVB meeting this month, it appears that with the spate of recent successes that have been coming out of the office, some things got overlooked, like the city and the MACVB contract has lapsed.
Okay.
And we will need to address this as soon as possible, most likely with an extension so that contract negotiations can begin.
Sure. We can get that on our list of things to do. Thank you. Yes, sir. Any other committee reports? Hearing none, automatic reports. Alderman Moon.
No report.
Thank you, sir. Alderman Nguyen.
No report.
Thank you. Alderman Katz.
No report.
Thank you. Alderman Dorset.
Just reminding folks to check on friends, relatives, and neighbors who may not have air conditioning. Watch out for your animals outside. This heat is tough. It's going to be here for a while.
Very good. Thank you. Alderman Shabazz.
No report.
Thank you. Alderman Vajezi.
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Alderman Shu.
No report.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, anything?
I have nothing to answer.
Ms. Scalp, we've heard a lot from you this evening. Do you have anything else to add?
I think I'm good.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Mr. Coker?
No report, Your Honor.
All righty. Council, I request your concurrence in appointing Alderman Don Nguyen to the reconstituted McDonough County Teen Court Board.
Motion to concur with the mayor's recommendation.
Second.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? And since this would allow for compensation for attending a committee, this would require a roll call vote, please.
Shu.
Aye.
Vajezi.
Aye.
Shabazz. Dorset.
Aye.
Katz.
Aye.
Nguyen.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Don't believe we have any other business to come before you this evening. We'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to
moved.
adjourn.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.